In this video, I am going to go over how to make new and different wall types. And so this is going to come really in handy when you're wanting to create a certain type of aesthetic to your building, and change the material of the outside of it or the inside of it. So I'll show you how to do both. So what I want you to think about is, so first of all, I had you guys watch this video prior to starting this part of your assignment, this step. This video is great because he goes over in depth, like how to make a wall style and talking about the section of it. He references a real set of architectural plans so you guys can see what an actual set of like construction drawings look like. So construction documents, construction drawings, these are final approved versions of a drawing that people use to actually construct something. So this has all the information on it that a contractor needs to actually build this out and know what the heck is going on. So that's pretty cool. He talks about these call outs and what those mean, which I think is pretty cool because we did detail drawings on your last assignment where you kind of blew up a certain part. You can see these drawings, there's lots of information on them, and we'll talk about more what all this stuff means in the future. But these little call outs referring to the little the little sections and regions that are dashed out. These are called detail callouts, and so those details are on these other sheets where they break down the individual components of the wall. So you can see here, this is definitely will give you the information on how this wall will actually be built. And this is a very common practice in the architectural field. Well, civil as well. And all fields of engineering, actually. I used to have to make detailed drawings all the time for different types of utility things, or like utilities and stuff like that. So I just thought this video was really cool. And then he talks about how to transfer it over into like a Revit wall when he gets in here. So this is kind of, I just wanted y'all to watch this, but I'm going to show you guys how we're going to apply this, at least for their assignment, and how to understand this section detail here and how to manipulate it. So in your drawing, so if you guys just use the default wall style like I did, it's a basic generic 8-inch wall, okay? For your floor plan on the apartment housing drawing, I had y'all do all 1 foot wide exterior walls. So when you draw anything, okay, like a wall, for example, you can always select it and you can change the style. If you notice, here I'll go to L1, and even when I go to draw a wall, say I'm like, oh, okay, I want to add another wall. When I select the draw tool, all those I can pick a style prior to actually drawing it. I can do a 6-inch masonry, a 4-inch brick wall if I want. These are foundation walls, and so kind of like the walls that build crawl spaces. There's lots of default walls. A concrete 8-inch wall, 10. Okay, so there's all these default walls. Exterior brick on metal stud. So, you know, he shows in the video like, hey, I'm going to use this default, but I'm going to duplicate it and make it my own. And so you guys can do that. So say we just want to do a generic 12-inch because that's what we did in our floor plan. You can see when you start drawing it, it's slightly thicker than that 8-inch wall. But if we're like, oh man, I meant to make that 12 inches wide, you can always select something you've already done and change it. Okay, so maybe I meant to make that 12 inches and look, it pops out, okay? Say you meant to do that with all your walls. Okay, that select all tool where you right click and do select all instances. Now, when I click on an 8-inch wall, this is also important to understand and will save you a lot of time. If I click on that 8-inch wall and I do select all instances and entire project, notice it only selects the 8-inch ones. Those 12-inch ones are now a different wall type. So when I do select all, it's only going to select all that have the same properties as that 8-inch wall. Okay. And I'm like, I meant to make those all 12-inch. Okay, easy peasy, boom. Now they're all 12-inch. Okay, so handy tool there. But for example, I want you guys to use this tool to make your own wall type. So the only thing that's going to be required for this is I don't want you to do an exterior brick, because you could click this and just make it a like 4-inch brick or whatever exterior. I want you to make your own. And so what I'm going to have you guys do is select, and we're going to edit this 12-inch wall type. Okay, we're going to go to edit type. And he does this in the video. He duplicates that wall type and names it. I will do, I'll say MW for Mrs. Wynn underscore exterior, I don't know, wall type 1. Because I'm going to have y'all do 2 different ones, okay? So I duplicated this wall type. Right now, this is still just a generic 12-inch wall. When I go in to edit the structure of this wall, it brings up this window. And so this window, you can see, has different layers to the wall. There's only one layer because it's a generic wall. But in the video, he duplicated like the exterior CMU on studs or whatever. And so it had all these preset layers. We can insert layers, make them certain thicknesses. You can see that this just says, oh, structure 1, not really made out of anything. That's a foot. That's why this wall total thickness is a foot. Something he didn't show in the video is you can actually open this preview window and it'll show you a cross section of that wall. Okay, so right now this just looks like one block, but if we insert another layer and we make the thickness of it, I don't know, we'll say, let's do 6 inches, okay? Now I have these 2 layers, okay? And they're to scale too, which is cool. So this is like a foot thick and this is 6 inches. But if we want this wall to still just be a foot thick, well, I'm gonna make this 6 inches as well. So it goes back to being a foot, but then it's like separated into the 2 materials, okay? So this can be helpful when you're trying to visualize what the heck you're doing over here. And then you can see here, total thickness is back to a foot. Very cool. Another good thing to understand with this, especially once we start getting into the details of our wall styles and our designs, over here, this is the exterior side and the interior side. So up here, this layer here is going to be the material that's shown on the outside of our building. And then if this is the most inner layer, which in this case, because we have 2 layers, this is what's going to be shown on the inside. So you can actually make wall types with different paint colors on the inside and your exterior walls, certain materials, and whatnot. And you can have them show differently on the inside and the outside, depending on how many layers you add. So how do we change the material on these layers, right? So if I'm thinking, okay, maybe I want my exterior side to be a certain material, I'm going to click into the structure 1, okay? This material section here, I'm going to click into by category, click on these 3 dots, and then this window is going to pop up, and this is going to bring up a bunch of materials, okay? And so we can make the outside aluminum, we could make it black glass, asphalt shingles, which that's probably more so for roofing. You can see here asphalt, so that we'll get into this when we do like the site planning stuff. Brick, brass, carpet, CMU, all kinds of stuff, okay? These are all materials. So you can kind of search through this and see if there's anything that you like. but a lot of it's not really necessarily applicable for like the outside of a building. Let's do like wood planks. Okay, so we're gonna change the exterior of our wall to be wood planks, and we're just gonna see what it looks like. I'm gonna double click on it. You can see this becomes yellow. It's just kind of like a very vague visual. And then the inside, let's make the inside, usually we do the gypsum wallboard. Okay, you can see it's like basically just like what most interior walls are made out of. Okay, so now I've made this new wall type. The inside's gypsum wallboard, the outside's wood planks. I'm going to say okay, and then now I've made the structure that this is my MW exterior wall type 1, Mrs. Wynn's wall type 1. I'm going to say okay. And now I've made the outside this kind of wood material, which is probably more so for a floor, but you can make it anything you want. So I'm going to wrap up this video and do the next video in just kind of a different chunk, just because this one's getting long. But I'm going to show you in the next one how you can literally make this anything you want based off of a picture. So stay tuned.